Here's Wilson, and on the right circle, he scores!
Rebound loose, wild scramble in front, score! Ovechkin with a buzzer beater! It'll count!
And a hat trick tonight, number 21,
Spectacular! Braden Holtby!
Hello and welcome once again to the Power Play Point Podcast. I am, as always, your host, the Blue Liner on Point. And with me, as always, live to tape from beautiful Centerville, Virginia, is our lovely, beautiful, wonderful co-host. You know her as the Mermaid Mentalist and one of Fairfax County's finest teaching prodigies.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, I will.
Okay.
Miss Anna-noyance.
Yeah, my students may challenge you a little bit on that one, but that's okay. Yeah, how's it going, Gil?
Well, good as always to be, it's good to be in the DMV in May, because it's always that fun time of year where it's picnics, it's late May, it's Memorial Day weekend, it's fun times, except for right now, because it's pouring down frickin' rain outside, and so there ain't no picnics, there ain't no celebrations, there ain't no wiffle bat parties, anything like that.
Right. No, we haven't gotten the storm yet, but I know it's on its way because I have big humidity hair, which is driving me absolutely nuts. So I could do without the humidity, but yeah, it is Memorial Day weekend, but we do, and I'll do this even though it might have been on your agenda, but we have to recognize what Memorial Day is for. Absolutely,
and you're right. I was going to get to that, but you're right to point that out. First and foremost, of course, it is a wonderful holiday weekend. So hope everybody listening, our United States listeners, are having a great holiday weekend. But of course, yes, this is Memorial Day, and of course, it is a holiday meant to celebrate and reflect on those who have served our country and have made the ultimate sacrifice.
Yes.
In doing so. So
absolutely,
we salute each and every one of those men and women who have done that. God bless every single one of you.
Absolutely, and their families.
Yes.
But so yes, it is barbecues and all that stuff, but we can't, we're not going to forget the real reason behind this 3-day weekend. So
never.
Yes. So yes, but it is freaking awesome to be in the DMV right now. Our boys are going to the freaking Stanley Cup, Gil. The Stanley Cup. Holy shit.
The Stanley Cup Final. The Washington Capitals. I've been waiting to say this for 20 years. The Washington Capitals are playing for the Stanley Cup.
I'm so excited. I've been so excited. I can't even. Even my students have been coming in and they're like, oh, we saw the game last night and I'm really tired today. I thought, I don't care. You guys are there. You're rocking the red. They all came with neat little cap shirts. It's that's so awesome. And yeah, they looked so great on that final game. I couldn't be prouder. Could not be prouder.
Not to throw a kind of a downer curve on this, but I mentioned 20 years. I mean, a lot's happened. Obviously, my daughter was a 1-year-old at the time. My stepson wasn't even born yet.
Right.
So, amazing. Absolutely amazing, and just I know we weren't going to do a recap of Game 7, but how about Alex Ovechkin and Andrei Burakovsky?
Right?
How about them?
I can't. And I will say, we have been on, no, I won't put you in this. I have been on the fence with 65 because of because of my frustration with his lack of consistency. And then he does really well, and his, confidence level goes up, his skill level goes up. He is 100% mental, like into the game. And then he has an off game, and we hit a slope, and it's really hard for him to get out of that. And then he gets injured. So for him to come back and score 2 goals and look just absolutely amazing was so, standing ovation here in the Knox household for sure. I was going crazy, and I couldn't be happier. And then you have that at the end with Ovechkin, his reaction, all of their reactions. You got, Holtby crying during the trophy ceremony. These guys couldn't be more passionate and proud of themselves. And they, I'm just excited. And honestly, I probably shouldn't say this, but I will say, I don't care what happens, to be honest. Like, they made it into the Cup, and to me, they've accomplished so much this year alone. But I kind of feel like, again, we're going into it as a pseudo underdog. They thrive off of that. So I think it's going to be an amazing next couple of weeks. Absolutely. I'm pumped.
That it is. Now, you mentioned 2 things.
Yes.
That I want to hit on. First, the Burakovsky thing. I was on the fence with him too. I thought benching him was the right thing, but at the same time, as has been pointed out in a lot of different places, notably Japers' rink for one, maybe the fact that his play was a little bit affected by the fact that he did not have skilled players supporting him. And he tends to do better in that type of situation. But at the same time, his play individually warranted, a bit of benching and maybe reflecting. And like you said, he always seems to respond to that. So I think, again, as he has done all through the playoffs, Coach Trotz keeps on finding the right buttons and pressing them.
Right. And I think what came down to with Andre was Trotz just saying, like, now or never. Like, you're either going to prove yourself and you're going to make a name for yourself, or people are going to expect you to be benched. So,
right.
Now's the time. You've matured. He's still young, but come on. And I know from past conversations, he's not the biggest guy, but he wouldn't be on the team if Trotz didn't feel like there was a skill level there that, would benefit the Caps. But he gets into that mindset and plays terrible hockey there for some time. So you know what? If he was benched and it humbled him and it got, a little fire under his ass, I'm okay with it, because 2 goals, wow. And they were good, and he was just pumped. And I'm like, take that, keep watching the replay over and over and over again before we hit the puck drops tomorrow in Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I hope he does do that. And so that whole game, I don't want to dwell on it too much, but that whole game was just a joy to watch. Of course, you had the captain opening the scoring, which turned out to be the series-winning goal 62 seconds in. And
right.
And then you had Andre with his 2 armpit sandwich goals, and then you had Tom Wilson delivering a knuckle sandwich to Braden Coburn. And,
how great was that?
And yeah, so I think I always say that the first 5 to 10 minutes in a crucial game is key. You got to watch the body language. Well, there was no question. There was obviously no question who was going to win this game. And,
I agree.
And that's a very good sign that they finally learned how to collectively step up for the important games. And so there's no more set of games that are more important now than the next several in front of them, because they are playing for the Cup. Now, a word, if I could, about the trophy. They did win.
Yes.
Now, obviously the Lord Stanley's Cup is the bigger prize, but the Prince of Wales Trophy, which is what they won, is no small accomplishment in and of itself. It does have a rich history all its own. This thing was created in 1925 and was sponsored, of course, by His Royal Highness at the time, the Prince of Wales, the future King Edward VIII. No, this is not the guy that made the famous speech that they made the movie out of a few years ago. No, not that guy. That was actually his brother.
Right.
But unfortunately, Edward had to leave the throne in somewhat of a scandal later on. If you want to know about that, look up Wikipedia, your internet. I don't have time to make another podcast. I have enough trouble with this one that I'm on now. So do your research on your own, but I digress. Now, as wonderful as it is that they won this thing, obviously it's not, I have to disagree with you a little bit. You said they came far and you don't care what happens, and that's great. But this thing is not the thing that they came for, and that's part of what the whole silly superstition is about. We talked about superstitions last week, but there's one about not touching the conference trophy. Well, Ovechkin said basically, screw that. You're going to see me not only touch this thing, I'm going to lift it up and I'm going to carry it home. And I absolutely love the Twitter pic of the trophy. It's on the dining room table.
Yeah.
It's that his wife Nastya picked out. It's on his personal dining room table.
Right. And wait, and I want to go back though. I want to correct you a little bit. I'm not saying that maybe I said it, but let me take it back. Of course, it matters going in Stanley Cup, and of course, I want them to win it. But I will not be a fan who, if we don't, that all of a sudden it's like, oh, and there we go again. Typical DC sports person, which we have been talking about all season. I still feel like as a fan, you need to acknowledge how far they have come this year.
Oh, certainly. No,
so that's what I'm saying. I mean, I want them to win the cup.
No, I got you. So cup or bust should be our attitude, but
but still a fan.
If the unthinkable should happen, and we're not keeping that in our mindset, but if the unthinkable should happen and they fall short, then it's not a lost season at all, I would think.
Exactly. And that's, there's so many accomplishments and it's just a good team and a good feeling all around. So, I'm going into tomorrow again, like I've been feeling relatively calm. I've got people who are, all over my social media, like, they can't sleep. They're sick to their stomach. And I'm like, no, man, like this is like, I don't feel that. I'm just pumped. I'm just excited for them, and I want them to go out and play like they did in the last game and the first two games where they looked like they were literally relaxed and having fun and not trying too hard. There's those little things that we've been talking about all season, but I just feel like that's what I want to see. And I think with them going to Vegas and all the pomp and circumstance out there, and I swear to God, I'm going to mute their opening ceremony because, my God, come out and sing the frickin' anthem.
Well, see, now I gotta disagree with you a little bit on that. I've actually enjoyed those. It's like, I said before, I don't know if I said it on the show before. I don't even know if I was talking to you about it. Might have been somebody else, but it's kind of like being in an IMAX theater and watching like a trailer for a movie or something. And all three series, it's been absolute fun to watch. I especially like the part where they talk about the One Ring and the guy comes out and makes the ring, and there's the little guy's supposed to destroy it or something, and this quest that they're on, I kid, of course. It sounds, if you watch these things, it sounds like they basically tore a page from the Lord of the Rings trilogy or something like that. But
well, it's just, the thing is, I mean, honestly, it when you look at that, if you were to show any person who is a sports fan or not, and said, I just want you to look at this opening ceremony and tell me what you think it's for. I sure as hell would not say, oh, it has to be for an NHL hockey team. No, this is like, I don't care that you're in Vegas. I really, like, it's so over the top. It's obnoxious.
But it's Vegas.
But who cares? So what? It's like, but then I feel like if you're going to say it's Vegas, then it's like, well, shit, but it's a hockey team. And everyone else comes out and they acknowledge, military, they acknowledge, and any vets, anything like that. They sing the anthem and they get off the ice. This is like a whole freaking show. And it's just over the top. I'm just done with it. I don't care for it at all. I don't. Well, I think it's like a Super Bowl halftime show every single game. So I can only imagine what the hell's going to happen tomorrow night.
I don't have a big problem with it.
But you're a theater person. I'm not. So I find it obnoxious.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes a little bit more sense. But again, big surprise. Agree to disagree. Mm-hmm. You don't like, I do like. So, right. Yeah, whatever. But I like that you mentioned that because I want to put my 2 cents in about that. But going back to the Prince of Wales Trophy, I mean, no disrespect to His Royal Highness.
Just call him a hiney.
But no.
I think you did.
We are after a bigger reward. This team is after a much bigger prize.
Right.
And I did the whole speech before, crafted in sterling silver over 100 years ago. Blah 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 blah. You get your name on it. You listen to I don't know. It's like 4 or 5 episodes ago. Listen to that if you forgot about it. Okay. But it's the Stanley Cup, okay? It's all that should have to be said. It's the Stanley Cup. And there's no greater prize in all of sport, in my opinion. And that is what our Washington Capitals are about to play for as of tomorrow night.
Right.
Okay, so now that is out there, let us move on. See here. I believe we had a couple listeners post some questions.
Yes.
Can you post the first one whilst I open up my beverage of choice?
Oh, what is it tonight?
My old trusty beer.
Okay. I'll stick with that. I'll cheers from you from here. I'm not drinking beer, but that's okay.
That's fine.
Is it? So we have a very passionate new follower, and this guy is great. And I just want to say, sidebar, Troy and Alicia just got engaged, so we should just be giving them huge congratulations. That's awesome. Yeah, round of applause.
Can't afford the crowd noise. Don't want to get sued.
Don't want to get sued, exactly. But there is. We are very excited for you guys, and many, many congratulations. So anyway, so Troy wrote that he wants to see the Caps come out, balls to the wall, physical Caps to set the tone against the Knights. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll let you do your take on that first.
Okay, I'm going to say yes, absolutely, but in the physical sense, I want it to be smart hockey physical. I don't want it to be like my Tommy in the sin bin physical, because they're going to come after him. Because he held it together until that last game, but that guy totally deserved the smackdown from him. So I'm okay with. But I feel like this is it. And there's no reason to not come out to the arena with everything you've got, but you still have to play smart hockey. You still have to be where you're supposed to be. You still have to make the right passes. You still have to be aggressive but not getting penalties. And you still have to be able to just be there mentally into the game and not let, the idea of where we're at in the first time 20 years mess with your mojo.
Totally agree. And especially that last part.
Wait, what?
Totally agree. But of course, I'm going to put my own twist on it.
Oh, damn it.
So like you said, they cannot be swept up in the glitz and the glamour and the, oh, it's so wonderful to be in the final. No, you don't play just to be in the final. You play to win the final. You play to win the whole thing. And I go on a bit of a tangent here. It's the Stanley Cup Final. 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 It is not the Stanley Cup Finals.
Okay.
It is the final.
Hold on. I'm going to take away your beer.
Why?
Because it's like you went from being fine and then you cracked up in your beverage and now it's like annoying. Go ahead.
Annoying.
It is
annoying.
Yeah.
Isn't that par for the course? Isn't that what we do?
Yeah.
Where have you been?
Yeah. So keep it going because this is like, yeah, keep it going, keep it going. Yes.
Okay, all right.
My bad. Continue your annoyance.
Yes.
My meter's going up.
Yes, it is.
All right.
And I can feel a lot of things going up, but that's fine.
Oh, gross.
But no, it's the Stanley Cup Final because there is all of one series. They don't play two best of 7 series in this event for the Cup. No, they play one. It is one series.
Can I just stop you? And I'm going to applaud you, and I'm not going to encourage you. I'm going to applaud you for saying one and me not having to sit through the count impression. So, no, you're not allowed to say it because I've already told you thank you for not doing it. So
I was not going to go there, so you need not say that.
Okay, well, it's too late because I already did. So
moving right along.
Yes.
So back to where I was. So balls to the wall should be their attitude, but they should be, of course, they should bring a physical game because that has been the difference. But they need to be judicious about how they apply it, because you can, and this is something personified by Tom Wilson and his maturity over the years. Some would argue this, given the fact that he's had a couple suspensions this year, but
he had one.
Well, he had 2 in the preseason.
A preseason, it doesn't matter. He had 1 in the season, and everyone knew it was a BS call. 1 game, I will give people. 3 games, absolutely not. But anyways, so my Tommy and his maturity.
Yes. He has learned to not so much go for the hit over making the right play. And I think the team as a whole, when they play that style, that deliver that mentality, should be in the same mindset. Don't make the big hit if it's going to leave you out of position.
Right.
Rather, you be physical when you have to, but concentrate on making the right play, making the smart play. Yep. And don't forget that this team does have a speed element to it.
Yeah, it does.
I think there was a time where maybe they could not have matched Vegas speed for speed. I don't think that's the case anymore.
I agree.
And this is something I went over with another buddy of mine from work. The times that they played Vegas, the Caps were a totally different team. Mm-hmm. You didn't have Chandler Stevenson on the wing fighting for pucks, racing up and down the ice. You didn't have Jake Vrana doing the same on the opposite wing on the second and third lines. Okay? Right. You didn't have that feature. So I don't know that Vegas, I don't know what they're going to do as far as adjusting to that. Now, Gerard Gallant, he's one hell of a coach. But I'm not sure what they're going to do as far as adjusting to that, because 3 other teams that we played couldn't figure that part either. So I'm kind of counting on that. So if the Caps continue basically to clog up the middle, not give the opposition space to score, and just keep what they're doing on offense, I think this will turn out to be a very good series. So I hope that answered Troy's question.
I hope so too. And you know what? Just to clarify, it was Troy Ryder. I meant to say his name in the beginning, but thank you, Troy, for your question, for your listening support, your fan support. And yeah, that's awesome. And then now you have Kevin's question, or do you want me to do that?
Well, before I get to Kevin's question, Troy, I also
Yeah.
want to thank Troy personally for his complete enthusiasm. I absolutely love it. It's infectious. You're adding a bit of new blood to our listenership, which you know didn't have a problem. Not to say I had a problem with it, but just absolutely love what you're bringing to the table. So keep it up. And also want to take this opportunity to do a tiny bit of advertising. Mr. Troy, I would like to offer my services now that you are an happily engaged man. I am an ordained minister with American Marriage Ministries. So if you are looking for someone who is available and eligible to perform said ceremony, said mariage,
See,
I
right
can
there,
do that.
Right there, you're going to lose people. You started so good until then. Gil,
You don't like Pirates of the Caribbean?
stop. I do. I don't like it when you do it.
Okay.
But hold on. Actually, going back to that, I have a question though. Are you ordained? I thought you were just ordained in Maryland.
No. The license. I double checked. The license allows me to perform it anywhere.
Hello.
Mike, well, then I may have another couple for you.
Most excellent.
Yeah, and actually, because it came up yesterday, and I was like, oh, but you know what? I'm like, I think it may only be Maryland, and they're Virginia, so I may have to pass that on.
Yeah. No. I double checked because I was teasing my stepdaughter about it because she's been in a long-term relationship with this is the one who just graduated with someone that graduated alongside her. They've been in a committed relationship for like 3-4 years now. Ever since she started that place. I was teasing her about it, and she was like, "Well, we'll probably get married in Pennsylvania." And I double checked, and AMM says I can perform it anywhere.
Look at you.
And here's the other thing. We might be talking about the same person, but I saw one of my other Caps fans that post a tweet that said, "You know what? There ought to be a dating service just for Caps fans." And she's right.
Totally should be.
She's right.
So should be. That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
I mean, I wouldn't be included in it, but I would happily love to put Caps fans together because I know some single guys that are looking.
Oh yeah.
And yeah.
That would
I love
totally
that's
be
great.
a great idea. And so
at you.
yeah, I mean I'll retweet it to you if you want to look at it. But yeah, and I was so tempted to say, well, I mean, if it ever gets that far, I can do marriages, ha ha ha. But I mean, I didn't want to, you know, you never want to assume because, well, you know what happens when you assume.
I do. Not that I ever experience it, but I do hear from others.
Yes. Okay. So, all right. Sorry, Kevin. On to your question.
Yes.
Let's see. Okay, so I'll go ahead and read that.
Well, Kevin had 2 questions, though.
Okay, well, I will personally handle the second solo because it was to me.
Yes.
But I will go ahead and ask this one. He says, "Hey, you two, what will the Caps do differently against the VGK as opposed to if they played Tampa Bay, Pitt, and the CBJ?" Boy, that's a lot of letters, but this is DC. Or do you think they will stick to their current approach, which has brought them 3 series victories? Love you all. # we want the cup. # all caps. Would have liked to have seen a # Power Play Point podcast, but Kev, you're my man, so I'll let you off the hook.
Kevin, I'm okay without that hashtag. You're awesome. You're a true fan, and you know, thank you.
Kevsky has been with me since practically day one, so
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time.
He can do no wrong.
But I'm going to say, you go ahead and answer first.
Okay, so it's kind of like the first question, but well, I mean, okay, so if there is but you know, he didn't say it outright, but there is one difference in this series, and that is the specter of the hot goalie. Unfortunately, if there's one goalie that has played probably better than our Braden Holtby, it is the one we're about to go against, and that's Marc-Andre Fleury. So, I mean, yeah, and we've experienced firsthand that, he can take over and steal a series and run with it and clean out the First National Bank and all that and just absolutely run away with it. But I think this year is different because whereas in years past where you had the Halak syndrome and the Fleury syndrome and they just give up, not so this year. They've learned to attack in waves. And again, also unlike in years past, it's not all on Ovechkin to deliver the offense.
Right.
And as long as people like Evgeny Kuznetsov and Nicholas Backstrom, whose injury can only get better, and they stay consistent, and of course they have number 43 clearing bodies on the top line, I really think, and that might be the difference. I don't think Vegas has gone up against that element. That, oh my God, I got to do something with the puck before I get smashed.
Right.
Oh my God, I got to get away from the board and do something I shouldn't do to rush the play.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry for apologizing.
Oh my God, number 43 is going to kill me.
Right. Well, my
oh my God, there's my left arm floating out on the ice.
See, this is why you're married to Mrs. Blue Owner, because she's laughing at your jokes, right? She's kidding.
She never
totally
laughs. She never laughs at she laughs at you during the show.
I laugh at your jokes.
No, but she laughed at you.
I know.
Okay, good. And now I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
God damn it. And I'm blaming you.
Train of thought.
Oh, no. Here it is.
Wilson's like a train. Oh, my God. Wilson's coming at me like a train.
Just Wilson in general. Yum. No, what I was going to say was I agree with you that the Knights haven't experienced this Capitals team because we had the injuries and because of the other things. And I also feel like when we played them, which was only, a couple of games, the players that they were the rookies, will say, that they were going up against were still a little bit cautious with things, i.e. my boy number 13. We always said Vrana's got the speed, he's got the skill, but when it comes down to, the physical part of it, there's a little hesitation, like he's not. I don't see that anymore. I feel like, he's come out. We've got Kempney, who I have been a big fan of from the beginning. And I just feel like everything's just kind of fallen into place. And I don't think the Knights have experienced this team as a whole in that sense. That, we were still trying to work certain kinks out and had some injuries or whatever when we played them. And now this is a different team and a different mindset. So I don't think we change anything, to answer Kevin's question.
Right.
I think, and I say that mainly because who did the hot lap today? Trotz. So they're not going to change anything.
Yep. Thanks for pointing that out. I almost forgot about that. But yeah, what exactly? You and I are in sync again, or is it Backstreet Boys? I don't know. But
we should. Go ahead.
But no, we're totally in agreement here, Kevin. I say don't change the approach. You're right. It has worked in the past 3 series. We've dethroned one current Stanley Cup champion, one regular season Eastern Conference champion, and another team that a lot of folks considered a contender. So 3 very good teams with the same style. So basically, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep.
So we're gonna stick with that. I don't think they should change a thing. Now, as we talked about earlier, Trotz has been the master of adjustments this postseason. So if there is one to be made, then he will make it. So.
Right, and the fans need to have faith in Barry Trotz and not be. I don't want to see my social media blowing up tomorrow with people saying that we should have fired him, we should have done this. No, knock it off. we're behind him now. He is
I don't
all
think,
about the
yeah,
Caps.
I don't think you're. I seriously doubt you're going to see any of that. Even if they get blown out, I don't think you're going to see any of that anymore.
There's always going to be some troll out there that just has to be a jerk about things. So, but I'm saying for the rest of us, it's like, hey, listen, we've been big supporters. I continue to be a big supporter, and I'm going to put my trust in Barry Trotz over the, couch coaches, as I like to call them, who don't know what they're doing because they're not coaching in the NHL. And support him. Why support him? It takes more energy to be negative and be a jerk about things on social media against a team than it is to just be, all on board and excited with and positive with everybody else. So I'd rather ride that wave.
Absolutely. I think we'll stay diehards to the end.
Yep.
Shout out to diehard Caps fans and the Washington Capitals ice hockey fans. I want to give a shout out to Sonia Kendall. Hello, Sonia. Hope you're listening. But yeah, no, it's. I'm not worried. Same approach, and like I said, if Trotz feels that there's an adjustment to be made, he'll make it. So I'm not worried about it. So stick to the plan. No worries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now the second question.
The second question. Will Gill eat anything similar like he did when he ate the blueberry Danish during the Columbus series? Well, again,
Gross.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I did the blueberry Danish during the Blue Jacket series. I did the Boston cream eclair at Bernie Deal's suggestion at the end of the Pittsburgh series. And I did the Gatorade Lightning and the 3 blueberry muffins at the end of the conference final series. So, again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I just got to figure out what the heck I'm going to do that's Vegas or golden or nighty or something like that to
right.
figure out.
It's going to have to be something over the top.
Oh, look who you're talking to.
Right. Yeah, true. Like get your inner theater person out and be like, okay, and go back to those Renaissance fair days where you're like, all right, I really need to find something that's going to make this awesome. And yeah, you have to. I mean, I don't partake in that. I go commando, and that's my thing. And you can eat, I don't know, some wicked golden. There's so many things you can do with that, but you need to make it like over the top, like set fire to something and eat it.
Absolutely.
Ring of fire, like make it cool.
Well, trust me. No, don't worry about that. I will figure something out when the time comes, if and when the time comes. So that. I don't think, put it this way, I don't think anybody will be disappointed. Anybody who decides to hang around and watch that video, I don't think you'll be disappointed. So,
okay, no pressure.
Watch for that. Okay, so real quick, we're going to do a brief discussion here. There is the meme that is out there that, of course, Vegas being a first-year team, an expansion team, well, traditionally expansion teams aren't supposed to do well, much less make the playoffs, much less win their conference, much less end up in the Stanley Cup Final. And so the meme, as I said, is that maybe they're not deserving to be here. Maybe they ought not be here. Maybe the rules were tweaked a little bit to their favor. Well, if they were, and these owners are, the other owners are complaining about it, well, boo-hoo, guess what? You've only got yourselves to blame. Reap what you sow, reap the damn whirlwind you created. You are the ones that approved of the rules, the 7-3-1, okay? This team, this Vegas team, I'm going to give them some respect here, a little bit of love. This team is made up of what a lot of people thought of cast-offs. These players were kicked out of all 30 other teams and cast off and cast away because, oh, you're not developing the way you were supposed to. Oh, you're not playing the way we want you to. Oh, you're making too much damn money. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that. and they were plopped onto this team like, here, you have them. Well, they've made the most of this opportunity. And ladies and gentlemen, that is what the NHL is all about, making the most of your opportunity. And so I don't see any problem. And again, if I kind of kicking myself for saying this, but if the absolute unthinkable should happen and our Washington Capitals go down to defeat to this team, there will be no shame because this is a good hockey team. This is a very good hockey team that is playing for each other, and they are playing for a cause, and they have embraced not only this opportunity, but they have embraced their new location as home. They're playing for a purpose, and they may not have expected it, but they embrace the role as city's ambassadors. When you think back to the October 1 tragedy, where the 300-odd people were injured and the 58 were killed in that mass shooting, that whole team did not hesitate to take up arms and do whatever they could for the city proper, for the outlying area, for the victims, for everybody, to help them all heal. And no matter what the result was going to be, right then and there, they earned my respect.
Right.
So, to me, to answer that question, yes, they are deserving. No matter what happens, they are a very worthy opponent.
And I will agree with you, and I will say that back in October when we started to see them having an amazing record from the beginning, and again, like you mentioned, the tragedy that happened, how they stepped up, they acknowledged it, everything that they did, all the things that they did that the media didn't even know about, is absolutely something to be acknowledged and respected and whatever. And in the end, you have a team of players that I, in the beginning, had said they were a Cinderella team. They're not a Cinderella team because you've got players who have experience. It's not like it's a bunch of rookies that came together and all of a sudden this is where they're at. This is a team of players that have experience, whether they were on Tampa Bay. You've got Penguins players, you've got Columbus players, whatever, and they came together under McPhee, and basically, and it came together. But you know what? It's like it's not right for anybody to say that they don't deserve to be there because they had to play just as many games as the Caps did and any other team. They had to win just as many games. So it's not like they were given a free pass on a couple of games because they were new. No, they absolutely earned it, and they're going to give us a run for our money, which is good. Like, you want that. You want to go in there and say, okay, listen, let's go out. Everybody's going to give it 100%. And that's it. Like, I don't have an animosity as if, like, say we were going against the Pens, or if we were going against another team that just gets under your skin. There are a couple of players I don't care for on Vegas, but that's the nature of the sport. I think one of them.
I think there's going to be plenty of time to build up some hate, some healthy hate.
Oh yeah. Well, I usually have one or two that I like to voice my opinion on, and mine has to do with a certain number 81 on their team, who Mr. Jonathan, who is only 5'9" and is cocky as AF. Don't really care for his antics on ice. Don't really care for his attitude. Don't really care for his arrogance. Don't really care for him. However, you're 5'9" and you think you're all that. I'd love for you to go against Tommy. I'd love for you to go ahead and try and see what happens, because you need to be kind of taken off your ego a little bit and enough. So he's one that gets on my nerves. I'm not happy with him. The other players, I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I can't say anything about Marc-Andre Fleury. Like, what do you say? You know, like you said, he's had an amazing record and is one of those guys that, you know, no one thought could do what he did this year, and he kind of, holy shit, did he ever? Reeves, another one. Carlson, another one. But I feel like this one player he's gonna be my public enemy. So you're probably gonna hear a whole bunch of Finland when I'm talking about him in the games in the next couple of podcasts, because he is one that just gets under my skin, and not in a good way. So we'll see.
I get that.
Okay. And you know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And I have a special message for a certain number 88. Love you while you were on the Caps, but I kind of hope you revert back to your first 20 games.
Right.
When you were prone to turnovers and whatnot.
Yep.
So you can go back to playing great, but not until after this series is over.
Yeah, you go back being to your silly SpongeBob smile self, and pleasing the fans and being personable and being jovial, whatever. But on the ice, kind of don't care what happens. Like, exactly. I want to see you not doing so great, but don't want you injured, just don't want you doing so great.
Agreed. All right. So gonna end on one last note here, and obviously, if you've been listening to this episode, neither Anna nor I have lost our intensity. I would say that's true for most of our friends that we know in the Caps fan community. But I just want to point out that there might be some of you right now that maybe are thinking how much can be left in the tank, both with this team and within yourselves as Caps fans.
Mm-hmm.
And how much can you ride the adrenaline rush? I know I've asked that of myself lately, just to make sure that it's all there. And not that it isn't all there, but you have to wonder sometimes. Well, I'm here to say that it will be there as long as you need it. And this team has it as well, but they still need you. Yeah. So make sure you are still out there rocking the red, screaming your lungs out till they turn red, and just make sure, this one last plea to you guys and gals out there who wear the red, white, and blue. Don't check out yet, because I think the best is yet to come. They've got a chance to play for the greatest prize in all sports. Don't check out yet, please. It's not over. Not by a damn sight. And
I'm going to support that 100%. And I'm also going to say bravo to the, thousands of people, hundreds, however many people showed up yesterday at Kettler to acknowledge the players when they came out to practice. Standing ovations for everybody, not just Ovechkin, not just Holtby. Everybody had a welcoming, adrenaline rushing, a moment for these players. And then when they left, everybody rocking the red, to see them off, and that the smiles on the players' faces were just like, yeah, our fans are behind us. They have a reason to want to win the cup for themselves, for their team. But I also really feel like they're going to do it for the area, because they know, like we are here. You got people meeting them at the airport, whatever else. But those pictures from that I saw on different sites and whatnot, I just was blown away. I was so proud of them. I was so proud of the fans for coming out and doing exactly what they should. And they need to keep that going, however many games it takes. So, and I'm glad to see that what they call him, Uncle Ted, is opening up Capital One free for games 3 and 4. Awesome. It should be packed. It should be rocking the red, and everyone should be doing exactly what they were doing before and just loving this team.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the event at Kettler from the other day, because I want to point out the contributions of one new listener and one fairly consistent listener.
Mm-hmm.
that being Bernie Deal. We're going to try and have him on. He was there. Both of these gentlemen were there, but he was there, and I was talking to him before on the phone yesterday, and he said it was absolutely rocking. The whole place was literally vibrating and shaking, and it was just a terrific atmosphere to be in. So hopefully I'll get a chance to do kind of a one-on-one with him, and if I am able to catch up with him before Game 1 tomorrow night, we're going to tack that on. Second gentleman, fairly new contributor to the show, Chris Cleveland.
Yes.
He was wonderful enough to, from that very same experience, post a couple dozen, I say again, a couple dozen pictures from that event. So you can see that at the Power Play Point Podcast Facebook page. You want to get a little bitty taste of what it was like there.
Oh, so great. So thank you.
Yes, want to take this opportunity to thank both Bernie and Chris for their contributions to the show. Thank you, gentlemen, both very, very much. I think this is going to be one heck of a series. I don't think it'll be a sweep either way. I think it'll be very competitive, more competitive than most people think, and it's going to be a joy to watch the Caps play for the Cup once again, and hopefully, I mean, it's not all about this, but me personally, it would be a culmination seeing Captain Alex Ovechkin lift the cup when it's all said and done.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? And I can't believe I said this. I meant to say that the Capital One Arena is going to be open for free tomorrow for the first Game 1 and 2. I think I accidentally said 3 and 4, and it's like, no, it's not for free. 3 and 4 because they're playing at home and tickets are going for, a high monetary value, but understandable. That's
mucho dinero.
Yeah, to say it lightly. So I meant to say that. I'm super excited. Yeah, Chris's pictures were awesome. Bernie, looking forward to hearing what he has to say. And then can I just go back a couple episodes? I gave a great shout out to my trucker friend, and I mispronounced his last name. So I'm going to say Eric Hayes. Thank you for listening. You always write the best comments on our podcast, and I adore you, and I'm so glad that you have, you found our podcast, and, we've become friends. So Eric Hayes, not Haynes, Hayes. That was my fault. I hate when that happens.
Eric, I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you for becoming a loyal listener to the podcast and for your wonderful comments. Keep them coming. If you got any other trucker friends that love the Caps, get them on board if you can. We'd really appreciate that. But yes, I also want to take this chance to say thank you. We're thankful for all our listeners, but I kind of know what it's like being on the road and needing something entertaining to listen to, and I'm really, really humbled and amazed that you consider our show one of those things that make your long rides a little bit more bearable. So I do appreciate that so much.
That's so great.
Okay, so I think we will go ahead and end on that note. Might have run a little bit longer than we intended here, but I think we had a lot of great stuff. I hope you all agree. Anna, any final thoughts? Anything else you need to put out there?
Nope.
Okay, so she's good. She's always good.
I am always good, yeah.
That you are. So, for Anna Knox, this is the Blue Liner on Point signing off and reminding you that you should never, ever drink milk that was milked from an overly pampered cow, because most likely it'll be spoiled.
Where do you get these?
Hallelujah, and let's go, Caps.
Go, Caps.
This has been another episode of the Power Play Point Podcast. All episodes are available from Apple Podcasts, the Podbean app, blueliner77.podbean.com, and now available from Stitcher. Music by Joe McAllister, voiceover by Jeffrey Conkle.